How's it going, YouTubers? Got a video here, and it's going to be on a pompadour with a bald fade. Now, this is a client I've cut for the first time on video, and the only issue I have with his hair is that it's a little crooked in the front, his hairline. Other than that, he has awesome hair, so this should come out good. And I'm going to start off doing my bald guideline with my wall detailers, and I'm basically bringing it all the way around the head. I'm curving it down toward the back of his head a little bit. And near the temple area right here, I'm kind of bringing it down some just so his shape up comes in a little darker than if it was fully taken out with the actual trimmers. So I went over the head very good with the trimmers, and now I got my Andes Profoil lithium ion electric shavers, and I'm going downwards and upwards right under this line that I previously just made. Going downwards helps blend the actual hair into the shaver because you're not exactly going against the grain, which means you're leaving it a little bit longer. So when I go over the hair fully with that, I make my next guideline with the clippers open, about 3/4 of an inch higher than my previous guideline. Here I put the one guard on and I open it up so it's at its highest setting, and I do the same exact distance for the next guideline, about 3/4 of an inch higher than the half open. Now I'm going to grab my number 2 and I comb the hair out the way, and I come straight up, basically where his head curves in. I'm just going to ride it straight up. This way it blends properly into the longer hair. So once you're done with the number 2 guard, get your 3/16, which is your blending guard, have it open, and start blending the hair down into that 1/2 guideline you made previously. Okay, so once you have the guard fully closed, it should be pretty good, blended together. If it's not perfect, don't worry. I always stress you can go back later. 1/16 guard, and I'm coming under the top part of my 1/2 guideline. I'm basically blending the 1/2 into the half, and this 1/16 is going to do all of that. All right, so you're going to go over the head. You're going to be closing the lever, as you can see I just did, and you're going to be coming downwards very little bit, making your C motions. This is the part that's very important, because from what I believe, the number 1 into the bald part of the fade is really the biggest part you're going to see. So as long as you can master this, you can pretty much cut hair very good. You can blend very good. If you don't have this mastered, you're going to have a hard time in general with cutting hair and making a blend look nice. Now, you can see I'm kind of adjusting high and low, and that's something that you'll get the feel of through time, experience. Now I take my regular blade by itself, I close it just a little bit, and now I'm going to blend the hair into the bald guideline. This should just finish up the blend pretty much for you. All right, you can see me adjusting and blending slowly, making my moves. And right now, all I did was go through the motions. I say it all the time. Do the steps, and then if something doesn't look good, just fix it after. You got time later on to cross-check everything and make things look nice and blend it properly. As you can see, it's not perfect, which is fine. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to do whatever I have to do to make it more pleasing to the eye. All right, so I'm grabbing my number 2. And with this crunch blade on this wall magic clips, you can hear the hair being cut. So if you don't hear any hair being cut, switch to a lower guard, which in my case, that's what I'm going to do. I ended up blending that with a 3/16, and I'm continuing the same process around the whole head. I'm going to basically clean up with a 2. After the guidelines, I'm bringing my 3/16 down, which I'm doing right now. I'm closing the guard. You want everything to match up. So what I did on the left side of the head, you're going to do on the right side of the head. Nothing different. So I didn't show the other side because it's basically the same process. There's nothing new that you're going to be doing. I got my 1/16 on there open, coming up just below that 1/2 guideline, and you'll see everything starts to come together very nicely. Again, this guy's got very good hair, and this is the first time I've actually ever cut his hair. Not just on video, but just in general, ever. I'm at my new location. I did my first video just to check out the lighting, and I put it out. It was the new dread haircut, but I'm back to my tutorials now because again, that was just a lighting check. So now we're going to be given more detailed cuts, and the lighting is way better. I got 3,200 watts of lighting on the ceiling being pointed up at the ceiling, bouncing off, so everything is nice and even. And now you can see I finished basically with the clipper, and I'm just fine-tuning now. So I'm going through all my measurements and I'm making sure everything looks nice. And what looks nice to me in real life looks totally different on the camera. So sometimes I have to look at the camera and make sure you guys are getting the right picture of what I'm trying to achieve here. Because trust me, if any of you guys ever filmed, it's not easy. This camera, if you have a good camera, it'll spot things that you can't even see in real life. Alright, so now the top of the hair, I'm going to saturate it with some water, and I just want to make sure I get it real good. As you can see, I'm moving his hair around with my hands just to make sure water gets everywhere. And I'm just going to go through and I'm going to trim just a little bit off his hair. I'm taking off just a touch, just to even it up. Because I have no idea who cut it before me, but I know it was a little off just from checking it beforehand. And combing it in between my two fingers, coming up real high. And then I snip just a touch. I follow that same guideline, which you should be able to visually see. When you go back, when you comb backwards, you'll be able to see that little bit of hair that's been previously cut. And you just match it up. So that's all I'm doing here, and I'm going to continue that on the left and on the right side of his head. As you can see, I brought it to his left a little more, at the ends. You know, you shouldn't go past your knuckles. They teach you that in school, but, you know, when you get taught something in school and you go out into the real world, you're going to do something your way, and this is my way, is I just go through my whole finger. Because it works best for me. That's how I like it. You know, again, the book way is to teach you the proper way, then you go out there and you do what works for you. So now, I'm going to blow dry his hair. This is just so I can, you know, get it to where it might want to be. This is not the end. And I'm going to blow dry it twice. This is just the first time. Now, again, I just want to see where his hair is as far as the pompadour goes, and start cutting, you know, trimming the short hair into the long hair properly so the look is there. Now, in my case, I'm going to freehand it because that's just what I do. So I'm left-handed, as most of you probably already know. I got it zeroed, I got it closed lever, and I'm just going to nip the sides that are sticking out. This way, he gets the proper shape, you know, for his hair when he combs it. It'll look nice. The contour is perfect. It rolls right in. It's round. It's not square. There's not hair sticking out. So when he combs it the way he wants to comb it, it's going to look great. I switched to my right hand. This is actually the first time I've ever used my right hand doing that, but it worked out well. The back, if that doesn't work for you, the back I'm showing you clipper over comb method, because that's something that you might have to do if you can't do it freehand. You know, you got to have a real steady hand. Now everything's starting to look perfect. So I'm finishing the rest freehand. You can see everything is shaped real nice. It comes in and blends very well. And you know, the way I'm looking at it now is how you should be looking at it all the time. So here I'm going to blow dry it properly. So I'm using the Suavecito grooming spray, and now I'm going to give him the real blow dry. So the front of a pompadour, you really want kind of poofing up. You know, you want to poof them forward a little bit and coming up. You do that by doing what I'm doing right now, is I'm curling the actual hair with the heat and with my brush. And this is a perfect brush for it. You want a event-free brush. Actually, this is an event-free brush. I'm sorry. But this is a brush meant for this. So you can use a vent-free brush. This way the heat goes right through it, and you don't burn your hand as much. But you can see the roundness in the front starting to get achieved. It's looking real nice. Everything's starting to come together. And I'm going to continue this pattern on both sides of his head. I'm going to curl it inwards. You can see how that looks now. Looks real nice. I'm going to continue around to the sides. Here I'm kind of inching my way. And I'm curling it upwards and inwards toward the middle of his head. And when you do that on both sides, I'm going to now put some pomade, and I like the Suavecito brand too. So, you know, I just like it because of the smell, and it works very good. I know Lay Right's very good. But you work it well into their hair, and then you give it a good comb, and you do what you need to do to get this hair looking good. You know, sometimes you have to use your hand to kind of mold it into place with the comb, but you do what you need to make sure it looks nice. And if it doesn't look perfect, just adjust where needed, you know. Now his hairline's a little crooked naturally, so I let him know I'm going to use some hair fibers. You basically, I got Infinity brand. You basically just spray the locking spray. You use your card and spray over it with the actual fibers, and I lock it in again. So what I'll do is I'll go over it once with the locking spray, spray the hair fibers, lock it in again, and heat it up. So that card just creates a nice sharp line already. And I'm going to continue it on the other side of his head. Lock and spray, fibers, lock and spray again. That will help you achieve a longer lasting hold. this is a lifestyle, all right? It's not exactly just a thing you can go out and treat your head the same way. If you want this stuff to stay in your hair, you got to live like it. As crazy as it sounds. 3 to 5 days max, I'd probably say this stuff will last. So, as you can see, you know, it depends how fast you press that button on how much is going to come out. So I like to not go too crazy. I like to do just enough to where it'll enhance the haircut. It'll keep everything nice and even. And then after that, you know, I'll go over it with the trimmers, my hitters. I got these right here that I sharpened. And you'll see, once I go over it with these, it really, really just makes that line perfect. And I'm giving it a light little dab because these things are super sharp. And you can see that hairline's coming in, the spot that I hit, very good. So I'll go over the whole area that I just did with the fibers, just to touch it up and make everything perfect. And as you can see, this haircut's really coming together. Now I'm on the other side of the head. And I encourage you to zoom in on this part just to understand what I'm talking about. You know, the hairline's not perfect with just the fibers in the card. It really did need a second trim with the actual trimmers. So that's something that is a must if you want to do this properly and have it come out good. So his hairline's done. I'm going to go over it real fast. This is my favorite razor here. I always give big props to this company here. It's the Black Widow razor. Very, very sturdy razor. I use it all the time now. I used to use a, I forget, Sicilian, which is a, you know, basically more of an exposed blade, but it's just a little too much. So I got something here online, and I'll put a link after this way if anybody wants to get something like this. I recommend them big time. Basically, I finish up all the areas that I trimmed, and towards the end here, we'll have a final look. Quick little spin around. Sorry for the camera not being centered properly. But this is basically how it came out, all right? He wanted a pompadour. I gave him one. I made sure he had a bald fade with it. And touched up as much as I could. Make sure his hairline's straight, nice and enhanced. And there you go. Pompadour bald fade. Thank you, guys. Peace.